Head angles, oh, everybody struggles with this one. I still struggle with this one. Head angles is probably one of the toughest portions of drawing people. Things that you don't want to do. Don't add all your facial features as if they're on a flat plane 100% of the time. When you add your facial features on, you usually are taught with the head looking straight forward. So that means that you're drawing everything on a flat plane. This works. This is fine, right? Because they're looking perfectly ahead. So the lines stay perfectly flat. Let's say if this person now is looking downwards. And if you continue to draw these lines super flat, no. Right? So when we have our head at a different angle, these lines are no longer flat. They're no longer perfectly straight. Take a look at your head. Touch it for me for a second. You feel that? We're three-dimensional. We curve. Our heads are a little bit egg-shaped. We're a bit ovular. Even if we have a very strong jaw, our heads will curve. So that means that the features that we draw on it should be curved as well. So make sure that when we are drawing our facial features, all these other curves that go with the head need to be curved as well. So depending on what angle the head is looking at, you need to make sure that your curves match those angles. At angle, if it's looking down, then those curves will point downwards. If you're looking up, then those curves will point upwards, right? Think of a sphere. You envision a sphere right in front of you. If you had that sphere, if you have it straight from the front, this just looks like a circle. If we kind of curve these lines now, it feels more three-dimensional because it has curves attached to it. And the same thing goes with our head. We want to make sure that our heads have curves. Don't draw your head as shapes alone. Only doing shapes like this does not help with angles. You're setting yourself up for failure. I'm just putting it out there right now, right? So don't draw your head as shapes alone. If you only use the shapes, right, that ball and shield method is perfect if you have your heads at the same angle all the time, right? Ball and shield is great. It works beautifully if you're doing it for the first time. However, if you're doing from different angles, that ball and shield becomes obsolete. Over time, you need to learn how to draw your head with different forms. So for me, one thing that I learned a lot that really, really helped was if we envision like the main cranium as like a sphere, we can envision the front of the face as a bent sheet of paper. So if we have a face kind of looking downwards, then we have our head looking down. If we have our head looking upwards, bent sheet of paper. This curve will continue on the rest of the face. Eyes curved upwards, like that. And now we have the bottom of the chin as well. So don't draw your head as shapes alone, envision the front of the face as a bent sheet of paper. So this is the paper method. If we think of our sphere for the head, touch the sides of your heads for me if you're not wearing headphones, right? Notice that it does kind of feel a little bit flatter on the sides of our head. So that's the thing that we're trying to draw. So if we kind of identify the side of our head, bring this curve down, almost like Iron Man's helmet. This section right here, this is where your jawline begins. Your ear would go right here. And then you draw in all your curves. So this flat plane of the head, you'll see this in the crash dummies a lot. So that flat plane of the head kind of tells you where your chin should go.
If you'd like to support the channel and the creation of free arts education, become a member on Patreon.
Loomis works excellently in a lot of different methods, but it is a tough one to get the hang of. Don't flatten facial features when in half, 3/4, or 7/8. So a lot of the times when people draw their head angles from the side, a thing that I see a lot is that they kind of draw this flat little face here, but then they keep everything very, very flat, right? That's super, super flat. It's like sometimes I'll see like the nose and it's like that. And there's no curve of the face. They keep it perfectly straight. There's no curve of the mouth. A really big pet peeve of mine that I see in a lot of animes, they draw the mouth like this. All right. I don't know why that mouth is like that. That's a very classic anime trope. This is very, very exaggerated. If you have like a very, very exaggerated self, that's one thing. Think of like a line that kind of cuts off the face like this. This line should have a bunch of things coming out across from it, right? If we have our face kind of drawn flat first, we have this line here. We should have our eyebrow jutting out. The nose juts out. The lips jut out. The chin juts out. We want to make sure that we have all our facial features in there. Even if we do have that slightly more anime-esque face, we still want to make sure a lot of different parts of the face jut out a little bit more, regardless of if you decide to draw it slightly more semi-realistically, or if you draw them a little bit more anime-esque, or if you go a little bit more cartoony with it. You want to make sure that you have a lot of parts of the face that are still jutting out. So make sure that you have those facial features and they jut out.
If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an upload. Join our art community with the links down below if you'd like to support the channel and the creation of free arts education. Become a member on Patreon for working files, behind-the-scenes posts, and discounts on our class offerings. If you enjoyed this video, here's a couple other videos you can check out next.